A tribute to Billy Wilder, the invisible director. The icon of American cinema gave us a variety of films to be enjoyed for all time. Billy Wilder once said, "The best director is the one you don't see." This bold statement directly contradicts the Cahiers du Cinema mentality of camera-stylo, whereby directors, like authors, are expected to use the camera as a pen to leave their distinctive mark and extend full creative control to each film they make.
Finally, he asked me, "What do you do?" I mean, professionally. And I said, I write movies.
Of course, the French New Wave was a very different world from the Hollywood studio system Wilder's career was based in for so long. Perhaps his preference for variety in the kinds of films he made stemmed ironically from the importance he placed on writing and the way it enables vast versatility of story. Unlike many of his other anti-auteur American contemporaries, such as Sidney Lumet, this is no way meant to belittle Lumet, he is hands down one of the greats, he wrote or co-wrote all of his greatest films.
All these guys, these mega famous guys, all came up to Billy and asked for his autograph. Isn't that something?
Wilder was born Samuel Wilder to a Polish-Jewish family in the Austro-Hungarian Empire in 1906. He worked as a journalist at a tabloid in Berlin before starting his career as a screenwriter. He wrote several German films before the rise of Adolf Hitler, after which he fled to Paris. His parents and grandmother were victims of the Holocaust. He arrived in Hollywood in 1933 and was nominated for his first Academy Award in 1939 for Ninotchka, starring Greta Garbo. He would go on to be nominated for a total of 20 Oscars, winning 5.
And I don't even consider myself a collector. I consider myself an accumulator. I have accumulated things.
The American Film Institute has recognized 4 of his films among the 100 greatest American films of all time list: Sunset Boulevard, Some Like It Hot, Double Indemnity, and The Apartment. Even if he believed he was invisible, Wilder does have a few trademarks, the chief of which being great scripts, which succeed completely in each of their goals. Other than recurring elements to his greatest films are all-star casts and humorous dialogue. His magic touch was that his films find an impeccable balance between character piece and genre piece.
He was a Stanford man, Mr. Neff, and he still goes to his class reunion every year.
What's wrong with that? Can't I have a little fun even once a year?
Here's a look back at some of his greatest films in each genre that expose just how versatile and brilliant he was. Slapstick comedy. 1959, Some Like It Hot is currently number 1 on the AFI's Top 100 Comedies list. The story of 2 musicians who disguise themselves as women to escape from gangsters they witness commit a crime combines physical humor with Wilder's exceptional comedic dialogue, sure to satisfy anyone looking for a laugh.
Certainly is delightful having young blood around here.
Oh, well, personally, I'm type O.
Tony Curtis, Jack Lemmon, and Marilyn Monroe are all perfect in their roles, and the last words, "Nobody's perfect," are embossed on Wilder's tombstone. The full headstone reads, "I'm a writer, but then nobody's perfect." This wasn't Wilder's first collaboration with Monroe, however. He directed her in The 7-Year Itch, a satirical exploration of the male gaze and infidelity. For better or worse, it's Monroe's most iconic role. The white dress flurrying over the subway vent has been forever immortalized in statues, murals, and fake Marilyn's tourist pose to take pictures with.
You know what she'd probably think? She'd probably think you were the plumber.
A blonde plumber?
Absolutely.
Film noir. It seems strange that the man who made The 7-Year Itch is the father of many film noir conventions. It all started with Double Indemnity in 1944, which saw the first use of Venetian blind lighting and whose Los Angeles setting and use of voiceover narration became standard in the genre. The fantastic sensual dialogue and teetering moral compass caused Wilder some problems with the Hays Code. His most famous noir, Sunset Boulevard, is perhaps the greatest film about fame ever made. It's a film in which he turned his mediations on the role of the screenwriter into a deadly and deeply emotional thriller.
I'm not worried. Everything will be fine. The old team together again. Nothing can stop us.
The old team, yeah.
Whose protagonist is narrating from beyond the grave, as only a writer would do. A cross between noir and a courtroom drama, Wilder's adaptation for Witness for the Prosecution takes the suspense from a noir and places it inside the unlikely setting of a courtroom. His use of classic femme fatale Marlene Dietrich in the lead seems to also add as an ode to the genre. All 3 of these films include elements of horror, but never to the detriment of the thrill.
dance for letters like these? You can take that piece of glass out of your eye. Good night, gents.
The romantic comic. If there was ever a film that best defined Wilder as an artist, The Apartment is it. It's a stepping stone many claim is their favorite film in early stages of cinephilia, and for some it doesn't change. A pioneer in the genre of dramedy and romantic comedy, it's at once hilarious and also layered, exposing so much about what corporate America was like through the eyes of two heartsick employees at a company of 30,000 plus. The lovable and flawed characters created by Wilder's script are portrayed by Jack Lemmon and Shirley MacLaine, take the tonal shifts possible as they deal with issues about self-worth and find love in the process.
This isn't like you, Fran. You were always such a good sport, such fun to be with.
Another great romantic comedy is Sabrina, a wonderful, never corny fairy tale starring Audrey Hepburn, Humphrey Bogart, and William Holden. The now classic romantic comedy plot devices of characters falling in and out of love, falling for the wrong person, and running to profess their love before it's too late have all been overkilled by so many, but work brilliantly in Sabrina. Special shout out to Edith Head's amazing Oscar-winning costume design, another aspect that makes this film so memorable.
Who is Sabrina?
Our chauffeur's daughter. That's who she is. Now, how about that, gentlemen?
Closing thoughts. Two other brilliant Wilder films that should definitely be noted, but are a little harder to place into any of his regular genres, are The Lost Weekend, a character drama with noir elements about an alcoholic's weekend binge, and Stalag 17, another great exploration into the dramedy space that takes place in a German POW camp. While it's hard to 100% agree with Wilder that a director should be invisible, looking at the sheer volume of his iconic and important filmography makes it impossible to not recognize that his philosophy worked for him. He was a filmmaker who put story at the center, and by doing so was able to adjust himself as story demanded, staying true to his sensibilities of humor and damn good dialogue.
Write some good ones. That was 54 years ago. I've tried ever since.